The Access Media has one big ask of Disney, and that is, we need more Pedro. The man that the box office is depending on for 2026 is apparently in high demand across the lamestream going extinct dinosaur media. They claim that without him, without Peepaw, without the internet's so-called daddy Pedro Pascal, things won't go well for Star Wars. Is it true, or is it yet another attempt to confuse you in the general public? Hello and welcome back to the channel that continues to deliver up a truckload after truckload of info you will find nowhere else. Another video of excellence on the way, ladies and gentlemen. And today we're talking about the audacity and the obnoxiousness of those who claim Pedro Pascal is all that will be enough to save Hollywood next year. No, seriously, they're writing articles about this. We'll bring it on the screen. We'll show you what we mean. Click the like button, and it's the green light, but not for Pedro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you need some Peepaw energy, don't you? Do you need some Peepaw energy? They want you to have some Peepaw energy. What is the answer to your prayers, Hollyweird? What is the way that you can save Star Wars? Well, according to the legacy going extinct dinosaur Access Media, it's more of this guy, despite the fact that he has destroyed the box office this year, looking like a 1980s Golden Girl wannabe. Interesting, eh? Marvin Martinero over at That Park Place has this article. If you're not yet bookmarked the website, well, you should be. Mainstream media says the problem with Star Wars is not enough Pedro Pascal. Man, I thought we had plenty of him. Star Wars is limping to its next chapter with confidence only Hollywood could muster. The kind born not from success, but from denial. The franchise is in shambles. The audience has evaporated, and the brand is no longer protected by the mythic glow it once carried. And yet, according to the mainstream Access Media, the big revelation, the galaxy-saving insight, is that the way to save Star Wars is Pedro. Yep, that Pedro. Look at Pedro go. Go, Pedro, go. The Sizzle Man. After a year in which Pascal headlined 2 box office flops, insulted half the country, and ignited a string of controversies, the Access Media outlets now insist the real problem with Star Wars is that we ain't seen enough Pedro. All right, let's go down here. You've got, Marvin, you've got in here the list of how he's done at the box office, okay? Here he is with his 0 for 3. The Materialists, which is Pedro's first film into the 2025 docket, was a $108 million worldwide, not a hit, but didn't lose money, but not a hit, $108 million. Eddington made $12.7 million.
Yeah, major flop.
Mega flop.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fantastic Four, which likely needed about $650 to $700 million to break even and had a budget like you can't believe behind it. Marvel's big move, the lead-in for Avengers Doomsday, $521.9 million worldwide on a huge marketing campaign. But they are deranged indeed. And the thing that Marvin is talking about is this article out of Screen Rant. What does it say? The Mandalorian and Grogu's first image proves Star Wars has learned a vital lesson about Pedro. You'll notice, what is the image? It is Pedro without the mask on, with baby Grogu caressing his slightly bearded face, his visage. Now, if you know anything about this show and now turned movie, taking off the mask is a big deal. But apparently we're going to get lots of Pedro without the mask on. And why? Because Screen Rant says that what we need is less disguised Pedro and plenty of Peepaw. Marvin, why in the world do they believe that Pedro Pascal is the answer to their Hollywood going under prayers?
So the author of this Screen Rant piece is a woman who in her bio states that she interviewed Pedro Pascal personally.
Well, that's not all, Marvin. She also was over there at the Galactic Starcruiser, which failed in about a year. So she's
a cast member at Starcruiser. Yep.
Yeah, she covered a little bit.
Yeah, so she's a little biased about Disney, Star Wars, and Pedro right off the bat. But I will say, so they think that that Pedro has outgrown the Mandalorian, that the pull of Pedro's face, yes, the same face that licked a rainbow rod while dancing, that is more of a draw now than the Mandalorian helmet, which means that they do not understand anything about what makes the Mandalorian cool or what made the Mandalorian cool. The point was that you forgot that it was Pedro Pascal. It's just they Boba Fett was the #1 selling action figure in Star Wars for a long time, not because he did anything whatsoever cool in the movies, but because he looks cool. And that is the point of the Mandalorian. He's a masculine, cool defender, a protector, right? A father figure. The second you take off that mask and see that it's the guy that insults half the country every other week, that is gone. That is 100% gone. People have proven with box office numbers that they do not like this man, that they do not want to see more of him, and Hollywood is in major revival mode for him, like we covered a few weeks ago on this very show. That the media has been working overtime to try to prove that he is a draw, that he is a major celebrity, and that he is the future of this and Marvel.
So let me see if I get this straight. At the same time that movie theaters are going out of business worse than Kmart ever could, at the same time that Hollywood is having to divest from the Hollywood Hills and the Beverly Strip because everybody's leaving SoCal for the golden shores of anywhere else, the saving grace that the access media has come up with is that Lucasfilm can be lifted upon the shoulders of one Pedro Pascal, who has been an utter failure in 2025. And as we go into a must-win situation in 2026, the way they can kick the dust off their heels and get back to winning is to have Pedro finally take off his mask. Ron, can you help me make sense of this? Why would they believe that Pedro Pascal is their leading man back to the promised land that will restore Hollywood and save the movie theaters?
Because they're nuts. I don't know what else to say. Pedro Pascal, there's nothing about him that is, there's no movie star quality about him. As a matter of fact, the first season of The Mandalorian, I think for the most part, he didn't take off his helmet except for like one time, right? And then
Very
saw
end.
his face, right?
And
then it was back. And he's like the mystery of what's behind the helmet in The Mandalorian. I think it was most especially brought out in that episode where he was in a village, right? And there was a woman that kind of had the heart, for him. She was attracted to him for whatever reason. And he wouldn't take his helmet off, like not even to eat or anything, like never take his helmet off in front of her. It's very, very important to him. That's what makes that character great. It's certainly not Pedro Pascal, not even really his performance. And I don't know why Hollywood wants to back him up so much, but maybe he's just slightly less cringe than Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande in their in their press tour, but he's still very, very cringe. And I just I can't even bring myself to watch the Fantastic Four. I still haven't watched the Fantastic Four on Disney Plus because I know he's in it and I don't want to see him as Reed Richards. Because Pedro is very much Pedro. I don't see him as anything else, and that's really, really hard. You need to be able to see the actors that the characters they're portraying.
Guys, the amazing thing about this is that, honestly, we're not trying to, 2025 has been one of the worst years in all of cinematic history for ticket sales. One of the worst, maybe the worst in like the last 50 to 70 years. And what they're going to put all their hopes and dreams on, Marvin, is Pedro Pascal. He is leading Star Wars and he is leading Marvel. This is the answer that Hollywood came up with that the American people are supposed to go to theaters for. Pedro might be the end of cinemas.
Absolutely. This reaction from the mainstream media is 100% typical and believable and predictable. The only thing that was not predictable in this is that Pedro apparently shaved his mustache for the role, because that was something that he said he would never do again. Remember, he even kept it as Reed Richards. He kept his mustache and beard because he doesn't like what he looks like without it. And in that photo that they released, he's clean shaven. So that's the only thing in this entire ordeal that I find surprising.
Got a little upper lip scruff going on there. I don't know.
We've also been hearing for years that the big point of contention with Pedro with the Mandalorian is that he wants his face on camera more, and that Disney didn't want that. So again, maybe this is also the access media going to bat for Pedro. Maybe they're more on his side than they're on Disney's side. But either way,
It's a rehabilitation tour as well, Marvin, because he's got 2 movies coming out. He's failed utterly. Mm-hmm. There are billions of dollars and the possible end of the industry, riding on this man. So they've got to do what they can as fast as they can to try to get people to believe they always liked him, always loved him.
People see this guy's face now and they go, ugh.
Like, he's associated with fail.
Yeah. Yeah, he's associated with failure. And he's associated with being creepy. I mean, let's not forget the way he was touching all of his female co-stars, including 19-year-old Bella Ramsey, just like hugging up on them and touching their face. And I mean, he is just a walking PR nightmare. Yeah, and that's not what they want associated with Star Wars, which is such a struggling brand right now. And had The Mandalorian season 3 never actually come out, I would say this would actually make money, but they squandered The Mandalorian goodwill in season 3. It's 100% in the toilet now. Nobody cares about it anymore because they did that stupid Bo-Katan season.
Unless people say, Pro, you're going too far. This is not the end of the industry. Hollywood is not going to go broke over Pedro. Let me just say, how big was Star Wars 10 years ago? The biggest franchise on the planet.
Oh, yeah. Evergreen.
If they can't bring this back and make money, let's say that Mandalorian Grogu comes out and gets a total box office of $300 and $400 million, Thunderbolts levels of fail, right? Because you can't make a Star Wars movie and make that kind of money without losing badly. If Star Wars can't return after a decade to the theater and win again, if Pedro can't carry the day, this is another franchise that will go into the Star Trek bin of uh-oh. And if that happens, is Marvel going to do it? No. Is Star Wars going to do it? We're going to run out of what can do it anymore to get audiences through the doors and into the theaters. We're running out. Nintendo, save us.
Star Wars was more culturally relevant than this past decade, in the decade where there was nothing. Like from Return of the Jedi to the Phantom Menace. Like, it was more culturally relevant then than it has been in the decade since Disney has been making Star Wars content.
And Ron, this is going to be another situation like where the sequel trilogy, nobody cares about it, yet it's sitting there on some of the most prime real estate inside Disneyland and Disney World. You're going to have the same thing happening with The Mandalorian, where what are we supposed to do with this franchise? And it comes down to, man, if this is the best they've got, if it's Pedro come save us, they're in a heap of trouble. Ron.
World of trouble. I mean, look, I think when it comes down to Star Wars, the fiasco with the Galactic Starcruiser hotel thing, I mean, that basically says it all, because that was the pinnacle of Disney Star Wars creatives and what they wanted to do with the whole franchise. Is like, it was all building towards this. People could have this incredible live action LARPing experience that everybody wants to pay $6,000 for 2 days of LARPing at Disney World. And this, it's where they've led it to. And they did this at the same time that they finally had an amazing female Star Wars character who was great, an actual strong female character, Gina Carano. They foolishly fired her. It was what Disney has done with Star Wars. Nobody could have ever predicted that Disney would handle this franchise so poorly. And I go back to just the parks themselves. Star Wars. The Star Wars weekends at Disney's Hollywood Studios were 1,000 times more superior to anything that they've done with Galaxy's Edge, Batuu, any of that kind of stuff. And you've taken a brand where maybe if Star Wars Galaxy's Edge had come to the parks 10 years ago, people would have wanted to pay $250 to build this custom lightsaber. And now I don't even think that there's very many people that want to do that have that experience. The other thing that they've done, even Baby Yoda, even Grogu, people don't care about anymore. The people that I know that actually like Baby Yoda, they don't even care about Star Wars. They literally just like the character. So they're not going to watch the movies. They just like the merchandise.
We want Star Wars to make a comeback, folks, but it's going to have to be fixed from the bottom up. It's a fundamental problem, and Pedro is not the kind of guy who's going to be solving any of that. Hey, Disney, go back and fix the heroes inside your own story. You know, it's always sad when one of these videos ends, and yet It is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land, 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels, That Park Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah!
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up. 3 days of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.